Hey, it's Nay. And what's your name?
Brooke.
Okay, it's Nay and Brooke, and I am here today to just talk really quickly about Disney auditions. So I've been to 2 of them now, and they're really fun. Well, depending on which one you go to, it's really fun. So I'll tell you about my experience in both of them, and then I'll tell you some tips and tricks at the end, / they might all just be interconnected. Okay, so the first audition I went to, it was in Dallas, Texas, and it was for character performers for the Disney College program. So typically at the character performer auditions, the casting director is looking for mostly for characters, parade performers, and face characters are more rare to find out of those just because they're going through so many actors. So I went and I wore a really cute Disney shirt that I will model for you, and I'll insert a picture of that. And then I didn't go in with a lot of hair and makeup done. Like, you don't want to show up in full Tinkerbell costume if that's the character you're going for. You want to go in with something that you can move, and shoes that maybe some jazz shoes or some comfortable shoes. I went in with both ballet shoes and I think tennis shoes, and that was it because it's more about the experience. These character performer auditions are more about them seeing how much personality and how much energy you can bring to their company and to the characters and bring them to life. So they're more about what kinds of fun improv choices you can make, and if you can keep up the smile and the demure and the mood. So when I first walked in, I got handed my number, which was 51, and then I waited with the girls, and you're gonna instantly want to try and talk and network with the girls and people around you, and the guys too, because you're all there for the same purpose, to get cast by Disney. If you can bump noses with a couple of the choreographers or assistants, then go for it, but just don't be that person that is hogging all of the casting director's time, because that's kind of unprofessional. So what happened is they sat us in a room. Tip number 1, be early. So the audition I was at started late in the afternoon, and actually no, it started early morning, but I was there super early. That's all. It was just a long day. So I got there an hour before I was supposed to get there, and then 30 minutes before that. So I got there an hour and a half early, and there was already a line wrapped around the building, and I just barely made it in the first group. So at these character auditions, there's just so many people that show up, because they're anyone who's like 17 years old, about to apply to college, to trained dance professionals that are 25, 26. So you're gonna give yourself the best possible opportunity and be there like an hour and a half early, and then you get checked in, because Disney usually runs for these mass auditions about 30 minutes ahead. So our first group, I was in the first 80, and we went in and they taught us, the choreographer came in, and after she talked to us, she taught us a little routine, and it was 2 8 counts, super easy, super jazzy, marchy, almost like you're in a parade. And your goal with those 8 counts were to learn it to the best of your ability, to make your movements very sharp, to have constant positive energy, and to make interesting choices. So I was put, funny story, on the end of 5 girls, and you know, because we did it in 5s. So she cycled through all 80 of us in those 5 numbered segment things. Okay, anyway. And so I went in that, and I was on the very end, and the other girls in my line all looked gorgeous. They looked like Snow White. They were so beautiful. And I was like, here I am, you know, the tall, gangly one on the end. And I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna stay positive. So I'm watching the casting director, looking at each girl, writing down their number, and she didn't even get to my number before our set was over. But I said, you know what, I'm gonna stay positive and just keep the magic flowing. And I looked out of the corner of my eye, and I just kept marching, you know, marched off to circle around, and she wrote down my number. And I was very excited. So then she called my number, and they cut they cut all 80 of us in half pretty much, and then did another group and then cut them in half. And so, give or take a few. So there's about 60 of us total. They recorded our Disney height. They took pictures and new headshots of us and put us in the Disney database and told us we were in the database as character performers. They just wanted to narrow it down and see if we were eligible for certain fur characters, certain parade performers, or certain face characters. So they did that, and it was pretty crazy. It was really, well, I'm not a dancer, so the dance was kind of hard for me, but to anyone with dance training, it would have been super easy. And it was about like 6-8 counts or so. There were a couple turns, it was interesting, but I got through it. My favorite part was the animation. So our animation was, they said, since, you know, it was like the Avengers came out and everything, we had a normal day job and then we had to turn into a superhero. So that was really fun. They played The Incredibles and it was just hilarious and really fun. And then we went and performed in 5-person groups in front of the casting director, and that was that. And there's an alarm going off. So the other audition I went to the day I moved in here in Orlando. Everyone thought I was crazy, but I literally dropped my stuff in my room, I put on my dress, I put on some makeup, and I went. And this was for a vocal performer, so they were casting for the Belle show, the Little Mermaid show, and Hoop-Dee-Doo Musical Review, and they had audition requirements online. Everything can be found on DisneyAuditions.com. Check it out. Need to do my Disney point, check it out, there you go. And so they had the height requirements, they had the song requirements, and they had what you needed to be wearing and what you needed to be performing. And the atmosphere was less kind of fun, welcome to Disney, and it was more, we are intense professionals, because it was an AEA open call, so you had it, you know, it looked better if you had more training and more vocal experience. And so we went in the room, and there was about 100 girls in the room versus the giant amount of even more than that for the open call for character performers. And you know, we were all dressed in heels, so you're gonna want to look nice. You want to allude to a Disney princess without being like, I am wearing a purple top and a green skirt for Belle, or for Little Mermaid. Like, you don't want to do that, but you can hint at it. I'll post a picture of what I was wearing for that audition as well. And, you know, we got our number, we had to check in, sign into the audition. They took us back in groups of about 10 to 20 into this back room. You give your accompanist, you give them your book, and you sit there and you give them your tempo, you say hello, you introduce yourself. It helps if you have clearly marked sheet music in sheet protectors, because that way your pages won't tear and it'll be easier. Apparently, the accompanist pianist guy, he would very violently like fling the music like this, and we heard rumors, because my friend and I were in the first group, we heard rumors that he knocked sheet music while he was playing just off of his piano, and he had to stop in the middle of the girls' performance, so that was frustrating for them. So just try and protect your paper if you can so it doesn't fly off of your show book. And so did that, and then the room was small, so there was only 3 casting directors in there, and you sang 16 bars, and then you exited. And my biggest tip for that would be to breathe. It's definitely more intense, especially if you hadn't done one of those in a while, but it's really fun to network and get to know the other Disney performers, because more than likely for the more specified auditions, so ours was in Animal Kingdom's backstage area, so more Disney performers were trying to renew their role or get a new role, so you can learn from them and learn from the professional atmosphere a little bit more, I think, than you can learn from a character audition. So I'm still waiting to hear back from that audition, and I did not get offered a role for the character audition, but both were so fun, and I just had to share about them. And some more tips and tricks for the character audition would be to choose very specific ideas and create a story for your animation. So you don't want to just be Billy Bob Joe cutting someone's hair and then turning into Spider-Man. why are you doing that? What is the time constraint? What is the thing that makes it have to be important right now? And the more specific and the more positive your animation, the better it'll look. Be free in your body. There was a really cool animator. She was like a yoga teacher. So just do big things with your body, because that will put you more on the map. And remember, a lot of things for character performers, it's all about the height. So you could be a really well-trained actor and yet you don't fit the height requirement. So pay careful attention to DisneyAuditions.com, and it will show you the heights you are looking for and the roles you can apply for. And then for the tips and tricks for the AEA open call was just to keep practicing, know your words inside and out. Don't look at your casting directors except for at the very beginning. Don't continuously look at them. I may have accidentally committed that horrible crime. Just be present, really connect with your song, and stay grounded. Anytime you get nervous, think of your feet. Also, it really helps to go with a buddy. I went with my buddy Brooke, and it was really fun. Biggest tip, just keep trying, keep performing and have a lot of fun and make some magic.